Did you know that 82% of people don't trust their leaders? Or that only 10% of managers naturally possess leadership qualities? Leadership isn't just about giving orders, it's about inspiring, listening, and adapting. Yet, so many struggle to master these skills. In this video, we're diving into 5 unique strategies that will elevate your leadership game, skills that most leaders overlook. From mastering body language that commands respect to building future leaders within your team, these tips will set you apart. By the end, you'll have the tools to not only lead more effectively but also inspire real change. Stick around, because the best leaders never stop learning. Ready to lead like never before? Let's get started. Chapter 1. Silent Command. Mastering Nonverbal Leadership. Did you know that over 55% of communication is nonverbal? Body language, facial expressions, and posture often speak louder than words. As a leader, people watch your every move, so mastering nonverbal cues can amplify your influence. Take posture, for example. Standing tall with an open stance signals confidence and authority. Compare that to slouching, which gives off insecurity. A study by Harvard Business School showed that holding a power pose for just 2 minutes can boost confidence and reduce stress. It's all about perception. So, whether you're walking into a meeting or addressing your team, ensure your body language mirrors the message you want to send. Eye contact is another powerful tool. Too much, and you seem intimidating. Too little, and you look disengaged. Aim for about 60% of the time making eye contact to create trust and connection. But remember, eye contact should feel natural, not forced. Also, think about gestures. Hand movements can emphasize key points when speaking. A well-placed gesture makes your message more memorable. In fact, studies suggest that gestures can improve how well people recall what you say by 20%. Lastly, don't underestimate the power of silence. Sometimes, saying nothing allows others to process information or shows you're actively listening. Leadership isn't always about filling the room with words, it's about commanding it with presence. Chapter 2. Strategic Listening. The underestimated superpower. Leadership isn't just about talking, it's about listening, strategically. According to a study from the Harvard Business Review, effective listening is much more than just hearing words. In fact, top leaders spend 40% of their time listening rather than speaking. But the key is listening to understand, not just to respond. Active listening means paying full attention to the speaker, picking up on both verbal and nonverbal cues. It shows your team that their opinions matter. Start by making eye contact and avoiding distractions. Yes, that includes your phone. When people feel heard, they feel valued, which leads to better collaboration and trust. Try summarizing what your team member just said to ensure you've understood correctly. Something as simple as, "What I'm hearing is," helps clarify meaning and avoids misunderstandings. It's a simple strategy but wildly effective in leadership. Here's an interesting fact. Research shows employees who feel heard are 4.6 times more likely to perform at their best. So, listening can literally boost productivity. Remember, strategic listening also means picking up on what's not being said. Sometimes, the hesitations or the tone reveal deeper concerns than the words themselves. Empathetic listening, where you truly put yourself in the other person's shoes, is particularly powerful. Author Stephen Covey said, "Most people do not listen with the intent to understand, they listen with the intent to reply." Shift your mindset. When you listen to understand, you gain insights that can make your leadership more compassionate and effective. Like what you're seeing? Hit subscribe and we'll continue right where we left off. Chapter 3. Empathy in Action. Leading with emotional intelligence. Empathy is one of the most underrated tools in a leader's toolkit, but it's a game changer. Emotional intelligence, EQ, is just as important as IQ in leadership, according to studies by Daniel Goleman, who popularized the concept of EQ. In fact, 90% of top performers have high emotional intelligence. But what does leading with empathy actually look like? It starts by recognizing and acknowledging your team's emotions. When someone on your team is stressed or frustrated, don't just brush it off. Ask them how they're doing, and listen carefully to their response. Small gestures like these build rapport and loyalty. In a study by BusinessOlver, 60% of employees said they would be more loyal to an empathetic employer. Empathy doesn't mean you have to agree with everyone or solve all their problems. It's about showing that you understand their challenges and are willing to support them. One simple strategy is to practice empathetic mirroring. This means reflecting the emotions your team members express so they feel seen. For example, if someone is upset, acknowledge it. I can see that this situation is really frustrating. By doing this, you validate their feelings, which reduces tension and builds trust. Empathy is especially crucial during conflict resolution. When conflicts arise, don't jump straight to problem solving. First, show empathy. Understand both sides of the story and validate their emotions. Only then can you move forward with a solution that feels fair to everyone involved. Studies also show that empathetic leaders are more effective at retaining talent. Gallup reports that companies with high employee engagement have 21% higher profitability, and empathy is a key driver of engagement. Chapter 4. Adaptive Leadership. Thriving in chaos and changed leadership today is about being adaptable. In a world where change happens faster than ever, the ability to pivot is essential. A study by McKinsey found that the most adaptable organizations are 30% more likely to outperform their peers. So how can leaders stay agile? The first step is embracing change rather than resisting it. Leaders who accept that change is inevitable are better prepared to guide their teams through uncertainty. Take a deep breath, assess the situation, and then lead with clarity. When you approach change with a calm, composed mindset, your team will follow your lead. Next, focus on problem solving rather than perfection. Adaptive leaders don't wait for all the answers before taking action. They gather what information they can and then make informed decisions quickly. In fact, one study from Deloitte highlights that 70% of successful leaders make decisions faster when faced with uncertainty. One practical strategy is breaking down big problems into smaller, manageable steps. This method allows you to pivot as new information comes in without being overwhelmed. Agile thinking is about small wins, not instant solutions. Another critical piece of adaptive leadership is encouraging your team to think creatively. When people feel empowered to innovate, they're more likely to help solve problems in unexpected ways. Encourage brainstorming sessions where no idea is too wild. This boosts morale and helps your team feel like active participants in navigating change. Remember, transparency is key. Keeping your team in the loop about what's happening helps them feel more secure during times of chaos. Communicate openly, even when you don't have all the answers. Your honesty will build trust. Lastly, develop resilience. Adaptive leaders bounce back from setbacks quickly. They don't dwell on failures but instead, learn from them and move forward. A Stanford study found that resilient leaders increase employee engagement by 25%. By modeling resilience, you teach your team that it's okay to stumble as long as they keep pushing forward. Chapter 5. Vision Crafting. Turning dreams into actionable goals. Visionary leadership isn't just about having big ideas. It's about transforming those ideas into real, actionable goals that motivate and inspire. Leaders with a clear vision can increase their team's engagement by up to 30%, according to Gallup. But having a vision isn't enough, you need a plan. Start by articulating your vision clearly. If your team doesn't understand the destination, they won't know how to help you get there. Keep your message simple and specific. Break it down into smaller, achievable goals that can be tackled step by step. A vague vision leaves room for confusion. Clarity leads to action. Make sure your vision connects with your team's values. People are more committed to goals that feel personally meaningful. Help them see how their work contributes to the bigger picture. This strategy builds ownership, which leads to higher performance. Once the vision is set, map out a strategic roadmap. This involves setting timelines, identifying resources, and assigning responsibilities. According to Harvard Business Review, leaders who set clear milestones are 20% more likely to achieve their vision. But remember to stay flexible. Your plan should have room for adjustment as new challenges arise. Another powerful tool is storytelling. When you frame your vision as a story, it's easier for people to understand and remember. Explain the why behind your vision, not just the what. People are naturally drawn to narratives, and a good story can ignite their passion for the project. Feedback loops are also crucial. Regularly check in with your team to measure progress. If something isn't working, be willing to tweak the plan. Adaptive leadership plays a role here too. Sometimes the path to your vision requires changes along the way. Lastly, celebrate small victories. When your team reaches a milestone, acknowledge it. This keeps momentum high and reminds everyone that progress is being made. As the saying goes, success is a journey, not a destination. Don't forget to subscribe for more amazing content and exclusive updates.